Good morning. Oh,
Good morning, Peter. How you
and
doing?
good.
And
How are
hello
you?
to your cat.
My cat and his tail. They're joining us today on the stream. Awesome. Tom, how are you today? Thanks for joining us in the comment section. Let's give everyone a couple minutes to come in. I already see people joining the stream. Welcome, everyone. Hope everyone's had a great week. Jackie and I were just debriefing off of last session that I couldn't attend. And Jackie, you just reminded me how excited I am to see this website be built. So I'm excited for us to actually dig in.
For sure. I think this one is going to be a complete different one than what we used to. You know, we all used to just the landing page and the
Mhm,
basic things on it, and
mhm.
but this is going to look different. I think it's going to be a complete different kind of website.
Yeah, this is the type of website that really makes me want to share this template to everyone. And so I think, depending on how good it looks at the end, I'd love to, at the very least, have that central element that we talked about really be shared to users. So we'll think about a way to do that, either in the personal elements or just give the whole page, and people can take that panel and save it
Yeah.
for themselves, because I think it's transformational. How about we
I,
start a quick screen share and kind of talk through all
mm.
of those. And I know today you want to be driving, Jackie. We're going to start off with this element, and so uh, if you
I
want
think
to
it's
start
quite.
your
Yeah,
screen.
I get excited when you speak about personal elements because I
Yeah.
don't think people realize how much time they can save,
Hmm.
especially if they've built something awesome,
Hmm.
an awesome panel, and saving it so that you can use it on another website or another place in your account.
Right.
It's really, really a time saver. So you guys must start saving, especially these specific things. That's going to make your life so much easier.
Let me zoom in, and maybe we can talk about the plan that we set out last session. So we did actually a lot of work on the front end. We put together the color swatches. We talked about, so first of all, this page is a landing page for, um, we set a software solution that has to do with these industries: financial, manufacturing, travel, telecom, and retail. And every one of these items toggles a different set of accordion menus, as well as a specific unique sales rep that people can book directly. And as they change, like manufacturing to financial, for example, they're going to get a different salesperson or representative that they can book a call directly with. And the whole idea here is to say, not only are we experts in these fields, we're actually going to connect you directly with an expert. There's no barrier. You can talk to someone who is in your space. Okay.
Yeah.
And then if someone selects this book with Josh, they're going to be anchored down to this separate booking menu. And this is actually a really big strength of Builderall, having all the different tools sort of native to each other, gives us the opportunity to build websites like this, where you have this really unique, complex panel in the middle, and also connect it with all of the different tools natively. So we're not doing any plugins. This isn't a separate tool that you're then embedding into the website. This is an all-in-one platform. This is the integration that all marketers really want. And I just get really excited when we do pages that pull from that repertoire of like different tools that we have access to. So that's enough talking from my part. Jackie, I know you want to drive today. So what we're going to do today is actually just skip this header. We can put that together on the side. I can work on the images for you and then give those to you maybe
Yeah.
at the end or next session. Those aren't a big deal. We know how to do this section. We know how to do this section too. What we all want to see is this panel being built. So maybe you can talk about a little bit of the strategy that you're thinking coming into this pretty complicated panel, and kind of walk us through what you're thinking and how you want to execute.
Yeah. And that's the thing, I think sometimes a lot of people want to build a lot of things on our platform and they don't really know, how am I going to pull this one off?
Right.
And by just looking at this, there's basically three elements, different kinds of elements being used inside of these blocks. And over time, as you get to know the platform and understand
Uh-oh.
that you can use elements within elements. It's not just about adding an element on the page and only use that specific thing. Elements can talk to one another, some of them. For an example, you get a rotation banner that can talk to a button. It can talk to a link inside of a menu. So there's a variety of elements that can speak the same language, if I want to put it that way. But then you will find other elements that cannot do that. And that is what I want to talk about or show you guys today. We've got basically a menu at the top that says financial, manufacturing, travel, telecoms, and retail.
And while you do that, let me just follow along here and actually create that kind of outline while you talk. So you said menu at the top, right?
Yeah, menu. The one at the top, which is the financial, manufacturing, travel, and telecom, that is a menu item, which is at the top. That is what's going to link to a rotation banner. Now, you guys know that we have spoken about or showcased a rotation banner in so many different ways in the last month or so, or 2 months. We basically used it at the top of the page as a banner that fades in and out with wording. If you guys can remember the trade, we used it as a testimonial. So there's really a lot of things that you can do with a rotation banner. You can even make use of that to create courses. I myself have created multiple courses like that. So instead having it in e-learning, I would have it in a membership page with a rotation banner going to different columns. So that is something that we can showcase in future as well when it comes to membership sites. But in this specific thing, we are using the rotation banner that is going to hold the information together. So I see it basically as the glue that sticks to the menu, because the menu items is the ones that's going to make the rotation banner move left, right, or whichever area we are looking to. Right. Then in the middle, where it says industry-specific offering, where you see those drop-down links, we normally, under normal circumstances, a lot of people are using that for FAQs or Q&As. And that is a specific element that we have, and it's called an accordion. So that is basically an accordion that is within the rotation banner, which basically is one of the rotation banner elements inside of it. So I'm trying to explain to the element. Inside of a rotation banner, you can have multiple pages, not just one. So there will be multiple pages for the different industries. So in this example, there is exactly 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I just had to count to make sure it's 5. So there will be 5 in the rotation banner, and each rotation banner will have its own set of accordion questions and answers and information. And then next to it, we've got images, we've got headlines, we've got a button that's going to lead to the booking app, as well as a little bit of a blurb. So basically, just in this panel, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 elements, which is wow. That comes from the side of our panel. 7 elements being used inside of one panel. Now, if that do not blow your mind, I don't know what will. But that is really a lot of elements being used to make this actually work. And that is what we are going to build off. Now, we spoke about this last week, where we said that it is a good idea to get all your images ready when you are going to, before you start even. And I would even say, get your content ready. and not just your images. Now, because we are building this live and we might change our minds or adjust things, we're not doing the planning ahead of it. But it is a good idea to remember, if you can work on what Pierre is doing here, plan it all out nicely, then it's going to make sense and help you to build faster once you get to your page.
Right.
Anything you want to add?
Well, I just wanted to add that I took the liberty here, Jackie, to just break these out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this here to the side, and I'm going to paste. And I want people, if you are interested in rebuilding this, okay, I want everyone to stop here and take a screenshot. Okay, take a screenshot of this, because this sort of is the key to the rest of what we're doing with this element. You have a menu item with all of these options. Each of these menu options is going to connect to an individual page within the rotation banner element on the screen. And then on every page of that rotation banner, we're going to place an FAQ accordion, as well as a box that has this instructor bio. And we're going to do that 5 times, right? So every time someone switches, it changes the FAQ questions and it changes the representative. And in each of these, they're going to have a different button for a different rep. Jackie, my only question to you, and this is something we're going to discover, is do we plan on having this button connect to the same calendar, or do we have different calendars that we're connecting to?
I think we should have it go to their own calendar, because the one that you've got at the bottom of the page is the company as a whole's banner. So if they scroll down, they will see everybody's information at the bottom. But when they click individually, they were going to go individually to that specific person's calendar.
Nice. Okay, beautiful. I'm excited to get started, Jackie. If you wanna take the wheel, we can get to it.
Perfect. Let me just start sharing my screen here. Let me just...
Yeah, and what we did here in the meantime, just for everyone, we have a list. We have all these buttons. We have a list of all the images that we need. We have an idea of what we're building exactly, including the footer. So going into this, we're very, very well prepared to execute on this website. And taking 20 or 30 minutes to think about, like we just did, the strategy, what we're going to do, what we need, highlighting out, okay, I have 12 images in this background. I'm going to need 12 images, 5 images here, 1 image for this section, and 5 headshots of the sales reps. That gives me an idea and the ability to just go into the platform and work as productively as I can. And I'm not stopping. I'm not opening my browser. I don't need to, get distracted or stop my flow. So just a word for the wise here.
All right.
Cool.
Let me just share my screen here.
Awesome.
There we go. All right. So basically what you guys are seeing here is I have duplicated the top banner 3 times. And if you're wondering why am I doing that, is because we know that we still need to build the top banner. All right. So it's basically like a placeholder that I'm just pulling it up to the top while we are working in the middle. And the reason why I've got the panel at the bottom is just because it's going to give me the freedom to move these things up and down. And like I said to you in previous sessions, I like to sometimes, when you build things out, you must be able to drop it somewhere else to do the final changes, and then you move it into your template that you've actually created. So that is basically what I am referring to when I say I do this type of thing. So the first thing I want to do is just to remove the box that we have, and I'm just going to go and give us some space here. And then we are going to start adding the elements, which is going to be our rotation banner. Now you might be thinking, why am I doing the rotation banner first and not the menu that is at the top? I think it's absolutely preference. I just feel like I would rather add the menu last once I have established everything and the sizes, then I can just drop the menu at the top. So I'm just going through my thinking process when it comes to building these type of things. So the first thing I'm going to do is go and find the rotation banner, which is alphabetically, if you guys don't know that, but our elements is placed alphabetically on our element panel on the side. So a lot of people say, how do you move these things? Sometimes I can't move it. If I click like here, I can't move it. You have to click on the group to be able to move the slider. So that is important to remember. And then I always go and delete the groups because you don't want to go and design one and then you have to go and design it again. So you rather go and delete the ones that's there and that you've got only one slider page open, which you see this at the right top where it shows mini toolbar. And then you can start deleting the content that you see there. And I like to do that to start with a clean slate. I know some people would say, but you can use what you've got there. My brain doesn't work like that. Mine wants to see an empty space where I can start adding content into that specific area. Now, we know that our block is the lines that runs right here. The example that Pia showed earlier is basically stretching right across this page. We need to have as much possible place for all the content because we've got quite a lot that needs to go into that section. Sometimes you can have it slightly over it, but it is better to keep it in between the lines for the reasons for mobile. I'm not saying if there's content on the side of it, it's not going to pick it up in mobile. I'm just saying it is better to try and keep your most important content, especially with rotation banners, right in between these blocks. All right. So now the first thing that we want to do is, and I'm going to scroll up because that is our rotation banner. I want to go and add our FAQ, which is going to be our accordion. Now the accordion, we've got multiple options here. You can see you can go and choose an accordion that is already created for you, structured, and you don't need to do that again. Or you can just go and grab a blank one, like what I'm doing right here, because that's what we want to use. And you can see I'm not already placing it inside of the rotation banner because when you place an element inside of an element, sometimes when you're adding things or moving things, it moves everything around. So I rather do the design work of the accordion completely in this area. And once I'm done with it, then I can move it up into the places where I want it. All right. So we can see that we currently have, and I think if I can recall, industry-specific offerings, what are the tools typically for it, and what are the case studies? I think those are the ones that we are using. So what I'm going to do right now is, and for this example, let me just duplicate this panel again. And I'll tell you now why I'm doing that, to give ourselves even more space. And I need to talk about something in a moment. That's why I need to give us space, because a lot of people don't understand this. So let's first go, and let me just open it on the side. I'm going to right click, and you see I've clicked on the accordion title. It is not part of the complete or the whole accordion. If I click on the outside, this is the group. But if I click on the inside, that is the actual accordion that I'm working with. Now, we're not talking about the fonts and all those type of things today. We are trying to create it. We can later go and change our fonts and whatever needs to be changed. So we just want to make sure that we get the information right. So industry specific offering. So that could be our first one. And we know what our colors are, but we will change the colors at a later stage. And then we know that we need 3 different ones that needs to drop down, right? But I have opened up this one because inside of that, what are we going to have? We're not going to have buttons, but we're probably only going to have the text, all right? So you're going to have to make sure that you've got the right fonts and everything in your text area. I just want to justify it because I'm just one of those people. I can't stand it when things are not justified. So I'm just adding my content in that area, just like I've done right there. And it doesn't have to be that much information. So I'm just going to do a little bit, just like that. All right. And I'm going to remove this button. And then we need to talk a little bit about the accordion because we haven't spoken about accordion in the past. And I think it's important that we understand all of these different kinds of aspects when it comes to an accordion. So now I'm going to scroll down to the size. You can see we've got height and we've container height. This height, if I move it, you can see what happens. That is the basic button that you see right here at the top. See how fat it is? So that is the one that is going to control the height of this offering. All right, I've gone too far, so let me just move it slightly. This is the container height. So if I open it up, this is what controls the height of the container. It's unlike normally with the rotation banner, you would be able to click on this point here and you can drag it and make it bigger and smaller, or boxes even. But with the accordion, it works slightly different. You just need to also understand that if you are creating it like I'm doing right now, think about what all your accordion types is going to be. Because if you change the one and you've got too much text and you go and you duplicate it for the next one, it will go across it. So you need to make sure that the text inside of each of your accordion panels or areas have got the right amount of text, that it doesn't run over this area. So leave ample space for that reason. And that's why I prefer to create the outline first before I start duplicating. So you can see there is our outline. That is what we are probably going to have into this area. And then maybe in this area we will also have, and I'm just going to duplicate this now. Just going to put it outside the box so that we can handle. See what I mean about what happens if you work inside of it? It's so much better to go and do it on the side, like what I've just done now, before you actually placed it into that area. So I can say maybe that is it. We will look about the text and the color scheme later. And I'm just going to place it like that. So that is our simple blurb that we have. So now we need to go and duplicate. You can see clone elements. If we click on clone and I click on it again, there is our 3 different ones. The next one will be what are the tools typically used. So we can go and change that quickly. Right. And I just need to have consistency because here I've got headings and then the next one I don't. So consistency is also key. And then the last one would be what are some case studies. All right. So you can see we've got the 3 there. Now I'm going to show you something that is really, really cool. If I click on the outside of the accordion group right here, you'll see the accordion group changed here at the top, right? So let me just close all of this so that you can see. If I go to the general colors here and I click change image, I am going to remove the image, but I want to show you something that a lot of people don't do. So I just look at the beautiful, I have to say this, look at this beautiful image I created with the AI earlier today when I was doing some other training. Isn't it cute? A nice octopus. All right, so let me just.
I like the octopus.
I like it too. And I mean, it depends. And people say, oh, it doesn't work as nicely. But it does, because if you look at the way I generated those images and how that one, it's all about the prompt. You just need to use the right prompt. So I'm just going to use this image and apply that. Can you see how it added it behind it? That looks so super cool. If you have got the right image for your page that you created, you can make this really stand out and not be just a very plain, simple type of thing. So I wanted you guys to see the effects that it can create if you add an image behind it. All right. So for this example, I can delete this now and just keep it as simple as it is. For every single accordion, you guys know that you can go change the colors, make it round, make a shadow, adjust it, change it. But the purpose for us today is to get it all created, and then we can go and play around with the color schemes and that kind of thing. So now we know that we've got this area here. I know that a lot of people say, Jackie, accordions is a crazy thing, because what happens Let's say I'm pulling it up like this. This is my first panel. There is another panel. If I click on it, look what's happening. It goes underneath my panel. Now, there's things that you need to understand. Number one is our platform, once the site is live and a person click on it, it will automatically push the panel down. All right. It doesn't look like this when we are in the preview stages here. But sometimes, if you really want to have peace of mind, just go and make sure that you layer this up, just in case if you feel like, you know what, this is not going to work. But most of the time, you have to do your testing. That is just the way it is. Test, test, test. Most of the time, it will pushes it down if you did not maybe layer it underneath something else. So I'm just giving that tip to you so that you understand that concept. All right, so we've got these different kinds of offerings. We can change the background of all of this a little bit later, make it thinner, make it bigger, smaller, whatever. Now let's go grab an image that we're also going to use, and we will add the images at a later stage, better ones. I'm just going to grab images that we've already used in the past so that we can get an idea. And I think we do have one of a male right there. And we can replace that later. And we can choose whether we want to have this person image rounded or not rounded or whatever the case might be. And I'm just going to click this because I want to make use of the same information for the blurb. Okay, so we can have our blurb, our image. We're going to move all of it in a moment. So I'm just taking that away. So we've got our blurb, and then we need to have some text at the top. So I like to just duplicate things, guys. It's just the way that I operate. So I'm just going to go to neutral heading, maybe something like that, and I'm just going to increase it slightly to 20, and I'm going to make it bold. 20 is too big. All right, and we can just say meet Josh, because that's what we've got. Let me just change this. It's not big enough. So let's go to 20, 24. We can do that in detail later. So there we've got that. And then we need to have a button, right? We need to have a button that we are going to add right here. And we really have a lot of buttons. I'm going so fast. There we go. Buttons. And again, we can worry about the color schemes of the buttons at a later stage. I know, let me just see you. We've got lots of different kinds of buttons, if you guys see right here. So you can even add a colored button if you want to do it that way. But I think in our example, because we are building something that's more serious here, I suppose we will have just a normal button added. So now you can see this is what we've got, and this is what's going to go into our rotation banner. And this is now where the power comes. So we're going to have to go and put our rotation banner right in here. Now, this is now where we are going to have to play around with our rotation banner, because we are adding different elements into this whole area here. And we do not know what's going to happen. I told you what happens with an accordion once it's been clicked, all right? It gets moved down. Everything gets moved down in a panel. But what happens if you click this inside of the accordion? And that's why I'm saying it is important to make sure that your accordion is going to be, or is going to have enough what do you call it? Enough. So there's something specific that I'm trying to say here. Enough space. I don't know where my mind went there for a moment, but enough space. So I'm going to go to slider 1, and I'm going to open up all 3 of them to see what is the amount of space that's needed, because I do not know. I haven't tested it like this before, And just as if this is new for you, this is new for us too, because we've never tested it inside of an accordion as to what will happen in the accordion. Is it going to go outside of the rotation banner, or is it going to stick on the inside? And that is where we are going to have to play around and test it. So I am making it a little bit taller, and I'm putting it back into the accordion at the top, so that we can get an idea of what we are doing here. All right, so that could be the max that it can go. I believe it's inside their area. That is inside the area right there. And then just to ensure that it is going to work, like we are going to test it out in just a moment. We're going to create 2 scenarios to see which of them is going to actually work and which one of them is not going to work. So let's do this and have our information right here. So I'm just going to do this for an example here to meet Josh, and we're going to hit save, and we're going to do a test first now, and then we need to publish, and it says republishing, and we're going to click close. All right, so let's go and see what this looks like. I'm going to go right there. Oh, that's the one I did earlier today. Sorry, it's not that one. Let me just publish this one right here. And then we're going to go take a look. It's not that one. Hold on. There we go. So we can see this is the rotation. We will worry about these icons at a later stage. We want to know what is going to happen if we click this. And you can see it is going over it. So let's go see what will happen if we do not have this group this big. All right, we're going to make it smaller. And we're going to make this smaller. I've just moved that box. Let me just put that box. See why I say you always work with it separately. Once you've set it up, then you put it back in. All right. Let's say that's in the group. That is inside. That is inside. That is inside. All right. So let's see what happens if it is inside of this accordion. If the accordion is inside of the rotation banner. Let's see what is going to happen on a live site. All right. All right, so we can see that it's sitting right there. So we can see what is happening here. It is pushing down the panel in the rotation banner, but it also pushes this information down with it.
That's interesting. Maybe what do you think about putting each of those into different boxes?
That's what I just wanted to say. That was my
just the telepathy. Just happened.
Yeah, that is. So I was thinking literally to have this now next to it in the same area, so we can try to see what happens if we have this in a box. Let me just grab a box here. Now, I honestly do not think this might not work because it's still inside of the accordion. I think it's going to push this whole block down, but I think there is another solution. So let's just do that. Now let's go see what the live site is going to do. Right. Yeah, so it is pushing down the box at the same time. So what other solution is there? I was thinking maybe, let me just remove this arrows of the rotation banner. Let me just do this because it bothers me. Okay. So because it pushes it down, we can maybe have it on the outside of the banner. So we'll see if we can do something like that. I don't know how it's going to work out. The only thing that I think is that might not make this work is when we click it and we go to a second one, what is going to happen? And then this one is going to stay. But I think there is a possibility that this one can fade once it's been clicked on. Then it means there's going to be another level of elements that needs to be added. But I do think it is possible.
I think the movement down is actually something that I don't know if it would technically be considered a bug or not, but I think that's at the very least something that I'm personally going to bring up to the product team because
It's always been like that. It's always been like that in the sense of, oh, you mean with the image that's being pushed down with it? Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, I definitely feel like that's a bug. What are you thinking? What are you thinking of doing here?
I was thinking that we can have this image right here, but we're going to probably have to use other elements like on click, the image will fade in.
Well, can I ask you a question? What happens if we keep the rotation banner wide enough to include both boxes and we pin a box? Do you know how you can pin a box? I don't know if that's like the appropriate use for it, but maybe the pinning will keep it. And personally, I'd rather have it move a little bit and maybe we can make some design adjustment rather than change the concept, because I think the idea is really valuable and I'd like us to do that.
Yeah. So basically, let me just move this out. We're going to have a larger box. I just want to test that concept because if this box is large enough to keep an expanded it keeps on say action not allowed. I don't know why, but the thing is, the only thing with this is it's going to have so much open space here. That's the biggest concern now, is the open space that you're going to have if you do not click.
So with your spacing like this, can we test out and see what happens in the real world?
It still pushes it down.
Why? Can you just move that around for a second? I just want to see what What's causing it to do that? Can you just like, yeah, open those and close it? Can you close it? And then open the third one? So it looks like it's adjusting based on that the bottom of the panel itself. Like that's what it's following.
But wait. Maybe. Wait, maybe. I've got an idea. I hope this one is going to work. Let me just take this out of the box upon panelly. Put it back the way it was. Like so. And then take this, okay, and just put it there for now. Okay, why not have the information inside of the box?
There you go. Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Yes. Inside of which box? Hold on.
Inside of the accordion itself. You'll see what I'm going to do. Okay.
All right. I trust you. You can go for it.
I'm going to have, you see, I want to have two things happening here. One with the image of the information in the box, and then the person that are being, for the booking that needs to happen, could be on the outside of the box, because it still doesn't matter then. So we will have, so basically, okay, no, I'm still, no, wait. The accordion is the one, if it happens, it's going to move it down slightly. But let me just think here for a second.
Take your time. I think you're onto something. So
I think if we put on click, it can fade. I'm just thinking it can fade. This accordion, once the accordion has been opened up, let me just, invisible. Okay, I just want to try something out here. It could be totally wrong. I don't think it likes the accordion to be inside of this box.
okay.
Let me see here quickly. See, it doesn't want me to add it inside of the box. It goes outside of the box. So the accordion is the problem. It doesn't want to go inside of the box.
Okay.
But it should not stop us for using the menu to go to these different offerings.
No, yes. No, we should definitely keep using it. Even honestly, even if it doesn't behave the way we want it to exactly, that's, I think, something that we can fix on the product side. So I want us to actually just move forward as if that glitch or that weird movement doesn't happen, and I'm going to report it to the support team and the product.
But there is one more thing I want to try here that I think can work. So I'm going to place this right here. Let's take the accordion. Let's take the slider page away. And we are going to be using a big menu now. So instead of using that one, let's go to the big menu. And I think it's going to create exactly the same thing that we want here. So we've got our big menu. We'll even just add some. Let me just open it on the sideline here. Or let me take that one out. And there's another one that you can add that's better than this one. I think the big menu is going to be the answer, and it's going to do exactly the same thing. So there is it. That is our menu that's going to be at the top.
Okay.
When you click on it, you're going to have your image. So let me just take that out. And we should have, I don't know why I didn't think about this earlier.
Interesting.
But we can do exactly what that is without using the rotation banner.
Right.
So we can delete this. And we can delete this one.
Very interesting. Very interesting. That's good thinking.
And let's see if we can now have our rotation banner in there. I don't know. It says action not allowed, but we still can have our questions and answers in there. Because each and every person. So I'm going to show you what we do here. I'm going to have some text on the page. Actually, not text, sorry. A button. I'm just going to duplicate this button here. And the button is going to say industry specific offering. Sure, let me just make that smaller. What are the tools we used? All right, so then I'm just going to put this thing there for now and take out that because I want to use that. So I'm going to remove the accordion here. I'm sure that this is going to work what I'm trying to get at. So we still have got our buttons. I'm not going to have any hover effect here. And we are just going to have it grayscale white. We just open it up on the side. Button, industry, color, black. All right. Black, black. And then it was background is white. Subjects, general colors. White, white. And just remove that. I think this is going to be the answer. So we're going to remove the specific offering. Where is the text? Background. Hover. Okay. I'm going to go to the top. Where is it now? Delete. 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 All right, so there we've got that. So there is our 3 buttons that is important for the information. Here is our box with meat. I might as well just leave it in here. Why am I taking it out of the box? I always preach about keeping it in the box and then I don't do it. So we've got meat and we've got that. Just take the box color away. You can play around later with that. So this is our menu now that we've got. Now for the content, we need to link this when they click on it for the information to appear. So let's first now move these things in such a way that we know we can duplicate it for each and every one of them. So I'm just going to add another box here. Just bear with me, guys. Bear with me a moment. I know it sounds and it looks super confusing what I'm doing right now, but you will soon see what I'm trying to achieve here.
I think everyone can recognize that we're doing something that's pretty on the it's on the edge of what the platform is comfortable doing, and I think that's exactly what we want to be doing in these sessions. So I'm actually glad we're doing this.
Okay, so there is our box. We're going to space it nicely so everything fits into the area. And then we've got our our big menu size that we need to look at. So let's just quickly go to the size, the container height. Because we want to make sure they're all the same. All right, so that could be our container height, and the width and all of that is fine. So we can always play around with where it is situated and all that kind of stuff. All right, so there we've got, let me just do this with our height, container, width. Just want to bring it underneath that contact so that it looks more in place. So this is basically like, I'm trying to show you guys an alternative because what we thought was going to work
Didn't.
Is not working the way we thought it would because of the accordion own rules. So I just want to make sure that I am placing it in the right place here. Okay, it should be looking fine like this. Everything is in the block. All right, so we can play around with that later on. So now let's just click save before I lose everything that I've done. So now we've got our buttons here. And this is an alternative. I mean, it's something that one can play around with. So this is going to be the content that when they click on that. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to drop this content right here, and I'm just going to pull this up. Right. And you can have another image there if you like. We're now playing around with this. So I'm going to call this one, this area right here. I'm going to give it a name. So we're going to go down until you find anchor, where it says, not anchor. Sorry, not anchor. I think it is anchor.
Tag.
Panel divider. No. It could be the anchor. No, it's not anchor. The panel. Let me just open up here and open the panel. So the size, enable arrow, hide panel. So we are going to have an action, and we're going to call this just Q1, question 1. You can obviously give it a better name. All right. Then we're going to duplicate it again. Oh, why did I duplicate that one there? And now this one we're going to call Q2, because we've got Q1, we've got Q2. Q1, Q2, 1, 2. Now we're going to duplicate it again, and we can call this one Q3. All right. So now we've got 3 different answers for these things. So we're going to click on this industry specific that needs to go to Q1, right? So we're going to click on link, and you're going to see the hide, show hidden panel, and there is Q1. All right. I'm going to go that one. Let me just move it a little bit so I can link it. We're going to go to hide. Where is hide? Hide. Where's my hide now? Show hidden panel. Number 2. And then we've got number 3 that's going to go to 3. All right. So let me just place it back where it belongs in this box. All right. So let's save it now and see what happens in this example here. Okay, publish. So where we're going to go now to the website. That panel is now hidden. You can see it's not there, and I haven't put this in the box. Oh, let me just go put it back into the box. This is not inside of the box. Okay. Save. Yes. All right. So let's go play around now and see what happens with this. So the person comes here, they see the information, they click and it appears. They click and it appears. They click and it appears. So this could work as a solution. You can have it on the same, you can't have it in a separate panel, but in the same. Now, what you can also do is, let me show you quickly, to make it not be that long. So if I go to the link in here, I can actually have a button that says back or return. And I'm just giving you now an example here so that you can see what happens when people can click return. This is now a workaround. I do think it would be nice if we could have it the other way, but this can also do it for us. Select. So we're going to click save. All right. Yes. So in a real life example, when somebody gets to your website, obviously they will have all the different links that we're going to work on later here. Mm-hmm. And when they click on it, they're all going to look exactly the same like what you see right here. All right. It's not going to have that information. Sure. When they click on it, it's going to open up. I must resave it again because it didn't show the effect. Republish. Show, and I just want to clear my cage and cookies quickly. Reload. Go. Click. There it says return now. So now you've got that when you click on return, it goes away. When you click on it, it opens. and it closes. Opens and it closes. So you might be opening up and you can close it. So this is a workaround with regards to getting it to work in a similar way, and people can move in between these areas to get the information that they're looking for. Or you could have all the information sitting in the same box with all the questions and not have this opening closing effect.
Nice.
The only thing with this way is, I think if you click on this and you open big menu, it's still going to be there. You're going to have to click on the return, and not everybody will know that. So that could be a hiccup there. Unless, like I said, you can always have the questions all in this area and people do not have to click for it to open.
Yeah. So like the question and the answer directly underneath it?
Underneath it, yeah. So like if we would have this box, just increase it.
And just out of curiosity, maybe you did this while I was a little distracted. What happens if you add the FAQ accordion within the menu? Does that
it doesn't want to. It says it's not allowed.
Okay. Well, interesting. Well, we definitely found a bug, and we found a workaround to that bug. I'm going to actually report the bug itself, and we'll see what we come up with. I think once this feature is kind of polished off, and we'll do that next session, I think from there, the page design itself will go way smoother.
Definitely. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, that is our time today. Guys, leave us any questions that you have in the comment section. Let us know what you think. Thank you, Nwanza. I definitely agree. I think Jackie did, in fact, do a great job as always. If you don't have a Builderall account and you stumbled across this feed, you can use Save 50 at checkout. You'll get 50% off of your first month. And then we have a Christmas in July special happening right now until the end of the month. If you use the term ho 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 in the checkout, you'll get a buy the first month, get 2 months off whatever plan. So that's actually an even better deal. But in any case, Jackie, thank you so much for all the painstaking work today. We found the bug. We found the workaround. We used another tool. I think we're pushing the envelope, and I love seeing it. So
yeah, and I think that's what I love about this, is because it's live and the people get to see that there is other alternatives. So if it gets to a point when you say, oh, I can't get this right, use another alternative. You can still design beautiful page. You can still make it work. You're just not going to have the accordion in that group. But if this is something that we can fix, and I'm sure we can, in the future, maybe next week it will be ready. We don't know. We don't know what we don't know. Let's hope.
That's a fact. All right.
Otherwise, we'll do something else. All right. Good, guys.
Much.
Good to see everyone. And remember, next week, Monday, I go live at 10 a.m. EST, where we also do some training with regards to our tools. We are actually at the moment going through the different kinds of elements. If you missed Monday, I spoke about something that's very important to everybody's heart, and that's email marketing and understanding the different directions that it's coming up. People always say, oh, email deliverability, my emails doesn't get delivered. And I showed on Monday how Google people, you can actually block emails by receiving them in Google by applying filters. So those are the type of things that I shared on Monday, so that you guys can understand it's not just about making sure that your domain reputation is great and the server is great. It's also depending on how people treat their mailboxes. So if you missed that video, go check it out. You will be surprised all the different kinds of technicalities when it comes to the delivery of an email. So make sure you go check it out. I will see you next week as well. And then Tuesday, we will be back with Pia. Thank you, guys.
All right. Thank you, everyone. See you later.